the house on Blackwood Lane. Jake Carter never believed in ghosts, or curses, or anything he couldn't explain with logic. That changed the night he stepped into Blackwood House. It had been abandoned for over 30 years. The kind of place kids dared each other to approach but never entered. The kind of place with stories, dark ones. Some said the family who lived there had vanished overnight. Others swore they had been murdered, their bodies bricked up in the walls. Jake didn't care about the legends. He was a contractor. His job was to renovate the place so a developer could flip it. He'd seen worse. Houses with rotting floors, nests of rats, squatters still lingering in dark corners. But this house felt different. The first day started as expected. The air inside was thick, stale, laced with something damp and rotting. He ignored the feeling in his chest, the way the silence pressed down on him, heavy and unnatural. He took pictures, measured walls, checked the foundation. Everything seemed normal, except for one thing: the basement door. It was nailed shut from the inside. He frowned. That wasn't typical. A basement was the first place he'd check for water damage, pests, or structural issues. But someone, whoever had been here last, had sealed it off deliberately. Still, he wasn't about to let superstition stop him. He grabbed his crowbar and started prying the nails out. They came loose too easily, like they had been waiting for him to pull them free. The door creaked open, and the stench hit him like a wave. He gagged, pulling his shirt over his nose. Rot, decay, Moldavian. The kind of smell that sticks to your skin, burns your throat. He reached for his flashlight and aimed it down the steps. The basement was wrong. Not unfinished, not flooded, wrong. The walls were covered in something black, spreading in long, vein-like streaks. The floor wasn't concrete, but dirt, loose and uneven, and in the farthest corner, something was buried beneath it. Jake swallowed hard, stepping down. His boots sank slightly into the soil. He moved carefully, the beam of his flashlight flickering as if the darkness itself was swallowing it. Then he saw it. A hand, thin, gray, sticking out of the dirt like it had been reaching for something just before it was buried. Jake stumbled back, heart hammering. He wasn't alone down here. Someone had died here. Someone had been left here. Then the fingers moved. He ran, up the stairs, through the hallway, out of the house. He didn't stop until he was back in his truck, hands gripping the steering wheel so tight his knuckles turned white. Jesus Christ, he panted, forcing himself to think rationally. Maybe it was an animal. Maybe the air down there was messing with his head. He just needed a minute. His phone buzzed. A text from his boss. Status update? Jake stared at the screen. What was he supposed to say? That there was a corpse in the basement that wasn't exactly dead? He glanced back at the house. The door was still wide open. The darkness inside felt like it was watching him. He made a decision. He was going to seal that basement back up and never speak of it again. The next morning, he returned with plywood and new nails. The house was colder now, the air heavier, but he ignored it, marching straight to the basement door. Except it was already closed, and the nails were back in place. His stomach dropped. No one else had been here. He knew that. He knew that. Something wanted the door shut. Something didn't want him going back down there. So he did the only logical thing. He left. Told his boss the house was a lost cause. Too much structural damage. Too dangerous to renovate. And he never stepped foot in Blackwood House again. A month later, a demolition crew arrived. They took down the walls first, then the floors, working their way to the foundation. When they got to the basement, The excavator struck something hard. The foreman stepped down, brushing away the loose dirt, and found a row of skulls. By the time the police arrived, they had uncovered 17 bodies, some decades old, others fresh, buried together, stacked like firewood. But the strangest part? The autopsies found something wrong with their bones, like they had been exposed to extreme pressure, crushed in a way that suggested they had been buried alive. Jake never spoke about it, never admitted what he had seen. But sometimes, in the dead of night, he still woke up gasping for air, the scent of dirt and decay clogging his throat. And sometimes, just for a second, he swore he could still hear it. The sound of fingernails scratching against wood. What would you do if you found something buried in your basement? Tell me in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and follow for more chilling tales. House Skull Eye.